Hello guys, sorry, I remembered I got the fan whistling away, so I had to quickly put you on mute while I just went and switched that off. So today I've been out all day, quite a long day it's been, and then home, and hubby wasn't bothered about the football, so we went down to the pub and we've just got back. But I kind of got a topic I think you'll be interested in, just renewing, revisiting an old technique. And I'll tell you for why. I'm going to get you down onto the table. Let's just get you in the corner there and move you across. There we go. So I've got some scratch paper here. It's just one of my grid sheets I had out with me today. So I thought I'd just fold that in half. I don't need it in the way as such, but I need something to lean on. Now the reason I had this on my desk when I walked back in was because I went to my window sheets before I went out. I was just quickly cutting something to take with me. Hi Marilyn. So this is a piece of 12 by 12 tissue, not one I get very often, but I do keep all my tissue paper. Now the other place you can see tissue paper, you will find it if you have our cutting plates. You will see that we also get it in here. Now these are the size pieces we get for the large plates. Okay, so it's about A5 size, and it's perfect. I do save other pieces of tissue paper, and again I have my little box labelled, so it's A5 size. This big piece is too good to waste to cut up at the moment. I haven't worked out whether I will have to cut it down, I'm sure, but to get it in here. But there are pieces I've put in here from shoes and other things where you get tissue paper, nice clean tissue paper. But the majority of it is this size because it comes from the plates. Okay, so it is recycling what you would normally just throw away in the bin. Now, if I've got some smaller pieces like that, I think I'll use one of those so I don't cut into a whole new sheet. There we go. But it's always good to recycle. I've been telling ladies today at a craft event I was at, I am a thrifty crafter. So I will literally, I'll be using this tonight. So that's kind of made me think this was on the desk ready. So I'm going to just quickly chop this. Go on there, that'll go on there. So I don't need it this big. Okay. Good morning, bless you from New Zealand. So I'm going to, when we do this technique, we want to have a big enough piece. I've got enough there to do two. So I'm going to stamp the image twice. You need to allow the ink. We're going to use Memento. Or could use StazOn actually. We are watercolouring with it, so I might actually find the StazOn. So I have my watercolour box here for classes. And has she got the StazOn? No, she hasn't. So where has she left it? Possibly out on the table. I don't know. Maybe we'll just use this one for tonight. I haven't unpacked fully yet, so I'm kind of bit of 2 and 8. So I've got a piece here. It doesn't matter the fact that this piece keeps curling up. Okay, what it does matter is if you've got tissue paper with it's the faux silk. Yes, Marilyn, absolutely. Hi, Shaz. Shaz, I have a tale to tell you. I won't bore everybody, but a couple of people are in the know. We did have a bit of a fright after Tom Jones the other night, but I will message you. Yeah. So nothing to alarm about. It's all sorted now. But yeah, a bit of a scary moment for Sandra. Hi, Emma. Nice to see you tonight. It's good. Oh, bless you. So these pieces of tissue paper, sometimes you will find tissue paper that is maybe a little bit shiny on one side and dull on the other. So if you've got a dull side, stamp on the dull side. Okay, we don't really want the shiny bit. We want it to be dull. This is what has been between two of the standard cutting plates, and it's the same on both sides. So I really am quite happy using that. So I'm going to be doing I thought I've used the everyday details quite a bit lately. This would be a perfect one to use because we've got the flowers here would work really nicely. The cup would work really nicely, but I've used that a few times recently. So I've done a quick check online. I just tapped the codes in and I'm going to use the Garden Meadow. Now this is one of the online exclusives. It's still available. I did check. It's still available, and the DSP. You've seen me use this. I've got very little of it yet left, but these are the beautiful scenery ones, and I've tapped the code in, and Meandering Meadows DSP is still available, so I thought we'd use this one. So I'm going to do an image. I'm going to do the wheelbarrow here and the flowers. So sorry, that's in the shadow there. So I'm going to do this one on the tissue paper technique, and we're going to use this on a card somewhere somehow. We'll stamp this and allow for it to dry. Then we will set our card up as to where we're going to put our piece when we've finished it, and then we'll go back to the tissue paper because that'll be dry by then. Okay, so that's what I'm aiming to do tonight. Use the wheelbarrow. That could be any occasion. I can't imagine having a better friend than you. Happy birthday, thinking of you, every day is a fresh start, and hello. Nice sentiment. So we use the whole of this set. Just a reminder that it is in the online exclusives. So we're going to take that and pop that on a block and just open this up. I'll take that one. We're not going to die cut it today. We're just going to use it as it is. So I've got my stamp there, and I've got the large size block. I am just going to quickly see if I can find my stays on, because it's probably in the bag I took today. Here's my class bag. Yes. Good, good, good. The reason being, we're not using watercolour with it, but we're not putting water near it, but we are going to be using some inking techniques. So we're going to be using this. So stays on will be better for this one. So I'm going to ink this one up. Oops, I'm stuck. There we go. I'm going to cushion it by putting it on here, just so it's not so rattly. I do find that the glass, I love the glass matte, but it is just that little bit rattly sometimes. You chink everything on there, which is okay for you at home, but when you're doing it on camera, you really don't want to be chinking away at it. So I'm going to just stamp this in the middle. A bit excessive, but then we're recycling and it's free. Okay, you do want to work on a bigger piece than what your finished image wants to be. Okay, so don't just cut a piece thinking, yeah, I'll cut that down and I'll get loads out of that. So it is quite sticky on there. So there is my first image, beautifully crisp and clear. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same all over again. I say that if you're doing it once, when you've got a technique like this, if you're going to do it once, you might as well do it more than once, and then you've got the pieces ready to do next time, and you can finish them off later. And the same with heat embossing, actually. So we're going to plonk that in the middle. Plonk is a crafting term. Love this stamp, you've used it lots. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, you can tell by the fact that this is black. It has been, it's obviously, the stain is there, so it has been used quite a bit. Now, I don't, do I? I packed that one as well, didn't I? I should have packed as soon as I got in. Stays on. No, shabby. Excuse my backside. It's here somewhere. There it is. Move that trolley over in case I need something else. So I'm just going to try and get the worst of that off straight away. As I said the other night, with the stays on, if you do get it off quickly, it will help not to stain. Okay, but it's already marked because I've used it quite a bit already. So a little bit squeaky squeak. Okay, that's nice and clean. Little bit of stain on there, but we know it's clean, so that's the main thing. Okay, get those out of the way. So we're going to set them aside, and we're going to work on a card as to how we would like our card to look. So the paper is going to play the biggest part. So I dragged some, because Granny Apple Green is one of the colours in there, and we're using, oh look, we have a card on the back there ready. That will do us nicely, and it's a landscape, so we could use that one. Saves me cutting. So this is our standard card, cut in half, scored in half, whichever way you do it, whichever currency you're in. Oh, bless, Indy's listening. Oh. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use it landscape. This is a low landscape picture, so I thought this might be quite good to use. So I'm going to pop this along here, and I'm going to cut it quite close to the edge. So I'm coming just 1/2 centimetre, or states you could use 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch lower than, less than your standard size card. Okay, where am I? Trimmer. Let me take this one. So I'm going to go, this way is 10 1/2. So for us, I'm going to go to 10. on this way, landscape. So that would be 10. So it's 0.5 centimetre less. Pop that back in the bag over there. And then this one we want 14.3 just to be just that 0.5 centimetre under. That is a tiniest little piece, but we could actually put that on the liner inside. So we'll salvage that. So just get this ready to mount. Now we could go down a little bit more and then put a white layer or something in between. Let me just see what that would look like. I'll just cut one in case, because sometimes it offsets, just brightens it that little bit. So if I cut this one down to that size, I might shave a little bit off the other one. So cut that to 10. Now cut that to be the same size, which doesn't worry me because I can shave a little bit off here. So just see what that would look like if we put a little tiny matte layer in there and then put that on there. I think it will just brighten it, it'll just lift it a little bit. We're going to have a panel somewhere over here. Might be here because you'd be wheeling the wheelbarrow down the lane, wouldn't you? So I'm going to just take a few millimetres off here. I prefer to do that on a chompy guillotine. So I'm just going to eyeball. I can eyeball 3 mils. So it's about that. And then this piece will be about that again. Okay, just to make sure we've got a nice little border sitting in there. How's that? Look at that. That'll do perfect. Okay, so we're going to stick those together. We've got these 2 skinny strips. They aren't any good for anything, honest. I do chuck them. So we'll just quickly whistle these together. I haven't unpacked my... I'm not gutting tonight. I haven't got anything handy to gut, really, on the machine out. So there's a little bit on there. Onto this layer. Hold my breath, get it even. Okay. The reason I used the grid paper earlier, was just to, in case anything bleeds through, because tissue paper is so thin, the ink can actually bleed through. I'll do that way. Nice little border. There we go, and we're nicely prepped for our card. We just want a liner in here. And do that the same sizes. Okay, I'll have that other piece that I just put somewhere. And cut that one down. You could write on the green, but it's just nice to have a proper liner in there. Oh, that is the right size. That way, just down to 10 this way. Go in the scraps. And glue this one. Before I glue that one down, I'm just going to pop this on here and just test for the size. Yeah, that would be fine. If I stick that one down first, I have got tweezers. If I glue that one first, if there's any overhang on it, I can quickly whisk that off. It's a lot easier before it's put down. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a white border and keep that straight like so. That's that little bit of waste, and I don't really think there's much on there. There's a little tiny little ridge there, like so. I've just found I don't know where my bag is. Oh, down there. My glasses are in my bag, so I might need to dash for those as well. So I'm going to pop that inside, and then we're going to go to the faux silk. Okay, so Marilyn's obviously seen me do this before. Who else has seen faux silk in operation? You're making an effect that's going to look like a piece of silk, like a silk blouse. Imagine the silk blouse with all the creases in it. You know how the natural look of the silk is. Okay, so that's ready to go. Squeezed all that out, and that's ready. So I'm going to take this back now. I'm only going to use one, so I will use the flat one. It makes it easier for your eyes, and that's why I stamp it onto here. That's why I stamp it onto a piece of scrap paper underneath, because it's so thin it does bleed through. if you're doing it onto a mat or onto a surface, that ink would then pick up onto a project, and you really don't want that. So I've turned that around and use a clean piece. Okay, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to use my mat here actually. I have got all my pens out. So all of these are each of the 4 colour families, and last year's in colours. I haven't got this year's yet in the watermarkers, these ones. But I've got all the colours, so I've got a little bit to choose from. So I'm wondering what we would like to see. Wheelbarrow. We need some funky colours to go with this, guys. So shout out some colours for the flowers. I think have got to be like the yellow to come through. Yellow and purple maybe. So let's go for crushed curry and whatever this one is. We've got gorgeous grape and crushed curry. So we've got those 2 colours in here for that. So it's just really the, you've never seen this one. Excellent. Love new techniques. Hey, you're going to love it. And it's cheap and recycling, so that's good. So they're the 2 colours. I just want to think about the wheelbarrow. Now, I'm a Pebble Path girl. I do love Pebble Path, which was in last year's in colours, wasn't it? It's this one. It's just a nice, like an aluminium. You want a purple watering can? A watering can? That's in the other one. A purple wheelbarrow. Purple. Oh, we got a green. Oh, look at this. You are testing me now. Look, I'll get a darker purple out. In fact, that is the dark one, isn't it? Let's do the watering can. You were first then, I think, with the purple. Let's go purple with this one. So I'm going to get the card out of my way now and put it up there. So only just for the colours for the paper. So I'm going to use the wide end here. You could equally use the ink pads and dab it on a piece of acrylic or a block or acrylic, a glass mat. But just for quickness tonight, I don't need loads of it because it's very, very gentle. I'm just going to grab this and just scribble on here. So you could do this on a glass mat. You could use it on, like I say, a block or even a laminator. I laminate my grid sheets. You could even put it on there if you wanted. So I've got some yellow and I've got the purple. Now, as I said on the inside of the ink pads, excuse me, when we do this, I've got some old blackberry bliss. When we squeeze it and we take the ink from here, it's exactly the same technique. So I'm just showing you a different option here. So you can do it exactly the same as that. It's just, this takes up less room and you can have them all the colours together that you want. Okay, so what I'm using tonight is the blender pens. So that's these ones. They come in a pack of 3. Okay, blender pens. So these have been around. We've had these for a long while. You don't need to have loads. You don't need to have one per colour. They're double-ended. So you can see I've got a dark end and a lighter end. But they're really good. They're not water-based. So whereas the tissue paper, if I was to put a water brush on here, it would make imagine tissue paper with water on it. It's going to just go soggy. You're going to stick the nib of your pen through it. Okay. This is glycerin filled. So it's not wet. You know, you can touch it on your hand and it's a tiny bit of moisture there, but it's glycerin. Okay, so what I'm going to do here for you now, I do need my glasses, sorry guys, I must get them. I have just managed to empty the car and that's about all. So I'm going to use this one, it's a darker end, and there's no water to run out or anything. You're just going to pick up a little bit of the colour from here. And then I'm right-handed, so I'm going to have to slant it a little bit. I'm just going to come along here. We're doing it very gently. Okay, and I can't remember if this was a good one or a dried-ish one. I think it is a dried-ish one. It's cold, but I don't think it's wet. Let me try the other end. If not, I'll get another one out. So squeaky on the mat. Just going to bring this in from the edges. Yeah, that's not flowing. That's a dead one. Let me get me one of these nice new ones out. Okay, let's try this one. That's better. There's moisture in this one. So I'm just going to come along and we're just going to paint just like we would with the water brush. And if I zoom in a bit, sorry girls, bring you in so you can see what I'm doing. A little bit more. There we go. So I'm just picking it up, that ink off the side here, and I'm just painting with it. So I'm going around the delicate pieces. It is stays on. We did get the stays on out, so it's not going to run. So nothing damp that you put near it is going to do any harm. Okay. You're going to keep within the lines. It has got moisture in it, so it is possible to tear through that tissue paper. So now I've been around the edges, I'm literally just colouring this in. And you're just using the glycerin in the pen. Okay, just to colour those in. Now there is a lip here on the top of the wheelbarrow, so I'm going to go over that as well. And touch those little pieces in between the flowers and the leaves. Just come around there like so. So I suppose if that's purple, the frame I can still do grey. I'm going to do the grey frame, an aluminium frame. Okay, so I've just got all those on there. Now we're going to go back and do the leaves. So to wipe this, I don't put it on paper because it would just absorb the glycerin. So I just wipe it on the back of my hand. You can see there's a couple of lines on there. Just wipe it to get the worst off. Okay, and I always put the lids on while I'm waiting what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to pick a green out. So we've got, you don't have to be too exact on whether the colours are the same as what's in the paper. We've got Granny Apple here, but we've got enough of that. So I'd rather go for slightly darker ones. So I think a Granny Apple might do well. Not Granny Apple's there. Garden Green or an Old Olive. Is it Old Olive? Yeah, either of those two. So that would go, and it would give it some depth of colour. So I'm going to use that one. So we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to colour a piece onto the block that is now out of sight. You can just see me coming on the edge there, can't you? So just a little bit of that. And we're going to pick up the pen exactly the same. I find it easier on this particular stamp to go for the leaves first, because if you start colouring flowers, you might think that some of the leaves are actually flowers. If you look for a leaf shape, you can find the leaves better than you can the flowers amongst them. All right, so we're just doing exactly the same. It's not wet, it's not well, it's damp, very mildly damp. So you're not tearing anything, you're just gently colouring those in. So exactly the same as you would for watercolouring. Anyone who missed my 2 classes recently, we did a Thursday and a Sunday, I've been asked to do another one, so put another one on. And I'm going to be doing it, if anyone's watching me from today's event, we've got a provisional date of Saturday the 17th of August over Lowestoft direction from me. Okay, so I'm going to wipe that off again. I've missed a piece of the wheelbarrow around there, so I'm just going to pick that up and do that back piece in there. I keep a box now just of all my watercolour stuff, so I have everything there whenever anybody would like to do. So I can always pull it out. So I'm going to get my good old pebble path back, okay, and scribble a piece on here. And then I'm going to do the frame. So we're just picking some of that up and coming down the legs here onto the wheel. We're going to do the frame coming down there. It looks a bit aluminium-ified, I think. A bit of this. We'll keep the handles black and the wheel, the tyre black. I'm just going to colour these in. So there's no real... it's quite a pinpoint with this nib because it's quite fine. There's no bristles to spray out. You're very unlikely to go outside of your lines. It's more accurate feel. And you can use this on watercolour pencils. It's not just for the tissue paper. Hi Gillian, nice to see you. So this will start taking shape now. We've got all the pebble path in. I'm being a bit too generous with my colouring on here. Black, dark grey in the neutrals. There we go. So I'll colour a little bit on here. We'll do the tyre and the handles. There is a little difference on those. Just going to do the tyre now. It flows really nicely. This is a new pen. I did get some new ones in for the class. And it does flow nicely. Now I will look up the recipe. I'm not going to promise to do it immediately. My July is quite a hectic month. I've got lots going on. And while I'm on here, I've been promoting again today the Waterloo Park event on Norfolk Day, the 27th of July. So if anybody is interested in a day in Norwich at class with myself, Helen and Laurie, we're all doing a session. You will have the same seats for the whole day, but we will move around between the 3 groups, each taking 1 set each. So you'll work in small classes basically. So I'm just gone back to the purple here, and I'm going to dot in some flowers. There's more than one type of flower in here. There's no right or wrong, however they grow in a wheelbarrow. Okay, as long as they're all covered at the end. Can do some in purple and some in the yellow. And then we've got these other ferny bits at the top here. Not quite sure what they are. But hey, we can put some of those in purple as well. We'll do some in yellow. Probably hollyhocksy type things. A bit leggy though. So I'm going to wipe it again on the back of my hand and pick up some yellow and come in with that. It is a little bit of a muddy yellow. I like to keep one end for darks and one lights as best you can. Okay. So it's quite quick to do as well. It's not a difficult task. Just try to keep half an eye on your comments. So we'll have some of these up here, yellow and as well. Did a couple of purple, so we'll do a couple of these yellow. This is another one that you could take on holiday to do. If you've got your markers and a pen, you could colour all your images, stamp them all before you go, and I think that's looking quite nice. The purple bods, are you happy with your wheelbarrow? There we go. So that's all finished now. You'll find some little specks have dropped through here onto the paper. That's why we have something behind it. Okay. Now, if I was going to do the other one straight away, I could leave those on there actually and just finish that when I'm off air. But this is our finished item. I'm now going to put that aside, and we're now going to work on a sentiment. So I'm going to grab the stamp set back under here and see which sentiment we'd like to put on here. We're going to make an image here. It will be a focal point, and it will be smaller than this. So I think we're going to put it, the proportions aren't right, but that's a technicality. I'm just going to pop this down this corner and have it as a panel. Then you've got the path coming through there that the wheelbarrow might be going up the path. So I'll have a greeting possibly up here in the sky as a long banner. So I'm thinking the happy birthday, hello, or I can't imagine having a better friend. I think I'll do that one actually. I like that one. In our crafting world, we have lots of lovely friends, don't we? So I might put something up here like so. We'll work out that when we've done, we'll stamp it and get that while this is drying. And we have, I'll peel that one off there for now. Put you on there. There we go. This might be too big. So what I'm going to do, just because, I'm going to do the hello as well. It's a smaller greeting. So if I put that on as well in a sec, we'll just have a couple of pieces done onto some scrap whites. I'll take a couple of pieces out. Would that fit on there? Ooh, that tail might be a little bit short. I won't risk that. And the piece is big enough. That looks like it will be. Pull that one out, or that one. There we go. All those little pieces that we just managed to collect. Look. Now, this is a clean stamp. We've not used this on anything else yet. So if we wanted to, I could show you another technique. Granny Apple is here, I think, in the brights. I think it's this one. Yep, that's Granny Apple. So just to remind you of another technique, we've got the wide end here and we've got the fine end here on the pen. So what we're going to do is just do this like we did the other week. Just do it slanted. So you're doing it, you're not stabbing your nib, you're going to mush the tip. You're just going to do that at a slight angle, very slightly, nearly horizontal. We're just going to run this over the top here. Okay, making sure it's all coloured. Okay, and then put the lid on and give it a huff. And then stamp it on here. Okay, it can be quicker doing it this way. But it's also, you can do different words. You could have the top line in one colour and the bottom line in another colour. Both will work. So I have some little blocks somewhere. For the hello. Oops. That was clever, wasn't it? Wipe that on my chamois. Chamois, where'd you go? There. Because I dropped it on the ink on the mat there. So wash that first. And could do the same again. Because I've got purple, I'm going to do this one in the purple pen. So again, I'm just going to hold this and just do it very, very slanted on here like so. And I go in both directions. You can turn it if you like and then come down a different angle just to make sure that you've covered it all. Okay. And economy wise, this is a better way to ensure, the markers is a better way to ensure you get more colours for your money. There we go, we've got both of those done. Just clean that off. Put that back up there. So they're done. So now we're going to go back to this. This will be dry. Now this is the horror moment. You're not going to like me. We do all that lovely colouring. Oh, sorry. Gillian, the pen, you mean for the colouring on here, it was a blender pen. They come in a pack of 3. I just had the box here. And it's disappeared. Where have I put it? Box of 3. Dum-de-dum. One of these. So they come in a packet of 3 like so. They're blender pens. If you want the number to order, 102845. So that's 3 of those, okay? So now we've done all that lovely work. You're really going to hate me because I'm now going to screw it up, okay? Now, the image wants to say that you've coloured wants to stay on the inside. So I like to lay it in my hand, push that in gently, and then I'm going to screw it up. The tighter the better, but you've got to undo it again afterwards. Okay, so you've got lots of creases in there. That's what's going to make our silk effect, faux silk. Okay, so we get the edges and gently pull them out. Okay, don't fret, and try not to tear it, that's the main thing. You're just going to gently pull it out. You do need tight creases to actually form that, the creases. And don't smooth it out too much. So we know that this is the inside. So this is the real McCoy. Okay, so that's my image. And we've got lots of creases on it. Now we just need a piece of the white card. So it doesn't matter what size so much it is now. We're just going to attach it on here. I'm being a bit generous there, but yeah, we can take a bit off there. Make it a bit smaller. Now, this is what I used to use Pritt Stick for this, but this is the one of the rare occasions you will see me use the spreader end of the Tombow. Yes, the bottom end. You just got some, you didn't recognise the nice clean one. Yeah, it's because I got some new ones. That one had dried up. I have got several in there. There is a recipe to do the glycerin, and it is on my agenda to work that out, buy some glycerin and do that online as well to show you. So you always see me use the tip, this end, the pointy end. This is the one thing that I will use the bottom end for, okay? Very little does it get used this way. So what we want to do, we're going to place this on here. And we're going to pull those, smooth those out slightly, but we want this whole piece of card to be covered in Tombow. So there is a spreader nib, so hold it in the right direction, and you're just basically going to cover it. You're going to go this way, okay, and you're going to turn it and you're going to go this way. You don't want any gaps in it, but we don't want any puddles. So just gently squeezing it so it's completely covered. Okay, spread that around what's on there. Give it a good scribble. Okay, don't worry too much about the edges because you're going to trim it down, but you don't want rivers of Tombow in there. Okay, I'm not worried about those edgy pieces. So that is all covered in glue. So we're going to pull that out basically gently. So you're going to be in the middle of your piece of card and you're aiming at the wheelbarrow first. So you're going to tap that down with your fingertips. So as it starts to go down, you're just going to tease that down. Leave the creases in, don't smooth it as you go. You're just going to tap it. Okay, so tap, tap away, coming out from the centre, and try not to get any pocket holes in there where you've got air pockets. Okay, so we're just tapping at it. And this is where you're all in amazement, those who haven't seen it before. Just tap it. If you're tapping it, you're less likely to tear it. Okay, and we will be left with our lovely image, but it's got all creases on it, like faux silk would be. Okay, so I'm not too worried about the edgy pieces. I've just got most of that out. Try and get any air bubbles if you have any. Okay, so that's really good for me. So I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see, if I tilt it, you can see that there are lots of little creases all over there. So we're going to cut that down, but the first thing I do, I will say, do not use the slidey trimmer. You're better off with a craft knife and a metal ruler to cut through. You don't want to slide it. If you use our paper trimmer, a tiny little blade like this, all it will do is pick the tissue, and as you go up or down, it will rip it, it will tear it. So you do need a chompy like this, a cutter, and we're going to get that underneath. Just cut off the excess at the moment, keep it clean. So if I just take any plumb line, so there, that will go in the bin. I'll turn it round once, line this up flat on the top so we know we've got a straight image. Just get rid of these gluey pieces and then come around again. We'll take it to size in a minute, but just get rid of the overhang. And again. Okay, now we're here. I'm going to bring that down a little bit smaller. So we're going to bring it down to a reasonable size. Okay, it's got the worst of it off. So I want to bring it down, yeah, maybe about 1/2 centimetre from the image. But there's no straggly pieces now. It's just all just trimming like a piece of card. Okay, and like so. I'm looking at the top of the image to the edge here and trying to get it fairly even. So there is my piece. We have cut a lot of that creasing off, but that's the nature of the beast. So if I hold that up, you should be able to see a really nice piece that's got a lot of creasing in it. Can you see that? So that's the faux silk. That's what we're after. Okay, so we come back now to the card. We don't need that paper. So this is going to be our card. We kind of are covering a lot of that image up. It would be a waste if I cut that away. I'm now thinking whether we just quickly do this a little bit different. I don't know if it'll work. Maybe it's not the right scenery one to put on it. Let's see if we've got bigger scenery. See, that's more. I'm not sure. We're going to cover most of that up now. I don't want to lose most of it. Who's with me? Who's still here? Opinions. This same one. I picked the colours according to that paper, haven't we? I think I might just have to go with this one. We've got a bit of a path there, but I was trying to do it in proportion. It's not in proportionate anyway. I was going to have it more this side. Oh, decisions. Whichever way we do it, we're going to obliterate something. Let me trim it a tiniest bit more. Just up to the top there. We're going to need to just matte it with something. And maybe a darker colour. Bring that tiny bit down. There we go. And then put some colour behind it, a matte behind it. Might even try a piece of black just to frame the focal image, or the green. Okay, this is just trial and error, just trying to see what's going to look best. They're too small, but let's just see what that would look like with the green on there. I think the green will be more in keeping actually, so let's have a look for that. Just going to cut another piece down. So if we just measure this on the trimmer here, we want that to be just a fraction more. So we want that to be just over 9 by just over 6, nearly over 6. So we do 6 this way, just a little tiny smidgen over. And then just over 9, 9.2 probably. Oh, it is. Oh, sorry. Yes, well done, thank you. It is sad to cover it, Shaz. Yes, I know. Let me whiz you out again. Sorry, I hadn't thought about that one coming out. There we go. Whoops, a daisy, not that far. Just come back in. There you go, a little bit more. There we go. So we've got this piece here. I've just matted that round it. It is a shame to cover it, but it was kind of, I was thinking about the watering can on the scene there. So maybe we grab a quick note card, because I can grab them quickly and pop it on that sort of size. Note cards. So we'll have one of those and an envelope somewhere. And we have, if we use the back of one of the papers, and just see what this is going to look like, because it's too, didn't realise it was going to be quite so big on the proportion side. See, we could put anything on that back, even this one, which was the one of the back of those papers. So let's just see what we've got here on the backs. That was the green. So the note card, that on a green, that's two green, but that could look good. That might actually work. Not quite sure which way up we're going. Let's just try that one, because it gives a little bit of difference on the colours. So if we put that with a little tiny border around it, then these have got to go together with a matte layer of some sort. You can just see that you've got lots of flowers around the outside, can't you? So it is in keeping with the garden. If I use the lower part, it's going to be greener. So I'm going to do that. So this is 5 by 3.5. So I'm going to come 3.5, just a little tiny bit under that. So go 1/8 of an inch under that. That should be my size for that way. And then this way I need to go on the bigger trimmer. 1/8 under 5. There we go. Cut that down. Get you over there. This is why we wing it, you see. We go with the flow, and then we change our mind as we go. So we're now covering up the beautiful flowers. Okay. Took a little while to get that Tombow back to the point end, because I've shuck it all down to the other end. Sandra is on, never seen what she's doing. Sorry, Sandra, meant to send to Angela. Oh, bless her. Yeah, you've never seen the faux silk. So it's tissue paper making faux silk. So I think the green will come in with that one nicely on there. So we'll keep with that one. But you could have used the purple or another colour as well. So we're going to glue this one down, and then I'm going to mat the pair of them together. It's a lovely technique. You know I like my recycling, but it's a dainty technique, and you don't need your water with it. Don't put water on your tissue paper. If you remember one thing, that's one thing, golden rule. Don't put water on your tissue paper because it will just rip. You'll stick your nib through. It won't be nice. Okay, so move those over. We've got our sentiments here. We've got the envelope there. Go away. Stop rolling. That's there. And we're going to use one of the greetings. So if we map this onto foam pads, which are in my tool bag. Don't you love having everything bagged up? What it is, I've got it out. My travel kit. I knew I'd put them in there. Some there. So 3 golden rules. Don't use water on your tissue paper. Use your blender pen instead. Don't use a guillotine to slide it, because the slidey will tear when you've got those the tissue on here, like we had these pieces. It will just pick that up, the little blade will pick up the tissue and just rip it, so it won't look very nice. So this is coming onto pads. Need the tweezers, so 1 in each corner. Put them on there. Oops. So we went down the pub for tea. David took me down the pub because we hadn't eaten lunch, and he wasn't interested in watching the football. So we went down the pub, and what have they got on the telly? The football. So then we can hear what's going on, and then he's involved. So it was kind of like, yeah, okay. Now I'm going to use the halo on this card, so I'm going to put that in the top left-hand corner or the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going to place that central. I am a centre girl quite a lot. So this little one here, I'm going to fussy cut him. Well, let's just chop it and see. We might like to have him square. So if you go quite close to him or her, floral, I suppose it should be her. In fact, I'm going to get that square that way. Sorry, must go. Message when can. Yeah, we'll do. I'll message in a little bit. Squaring this back off now. There you go, and then down here. Oh, tiny little pieces. If you get this tiny and you can't manage to hold it, then all I suggest you do is put it onto a post-it note. Post-it note, the sticky end of post-it note, just chuck your greeting on there. Use that as an extra pair of hands, and it'll be really good for you. So, to save matting and layering this isn't tissue, this is just our piece of white card. So I'm just going to bring those colours back through, and I'm going to go around the edge here. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to hold this slanted at the edge, and I'm just going to go along those edges. I'm not pointing it, I'm just kind of using just the edge of it, just to give it a little tiny bit of colour. And if I hold it with my tweezers, it'll get my hands out of the way for you. So it's just at an angle, and just come along that edge, turn it, and run the edge of that wide nib just along there. Just gives you a little definition on the edge there. Snap that on so it doesn't dry up. And there's my little sentiment. You can see the edge around that now, so we could put that there overhanging, or here overhanging. I think that would look nice. Okay, if you wanted to shape it, whatever greeting you're going to put on, you can shape it as you wish. I could have left that a little bit bigger and had a little flag in there, but I think because it's all squares and whatever, I think that's going to be quite nice. So I'm just going to attach there. I'm going to put on this end, I'm going to put a little piece of dimensional just to support it, she said, when she finds where she put them. I've got a couple of halves on here actually along this edge, so I'm just going to take those. So the side where the H is there. I'll put a big, let's just peel the back off it. Let's take the actual pad, shall we? There we go, and put that at that end so that supports the overhanging bit. And then, so that's going to be that way, and then I'll put some Tombow on the rest. and that's going to sit on the tissue paper just a little bit and pop that hanging off the corner. Okay, it's twofold really. It's one to give it detail, one to fill the gap, but it's like it's supported over that edge as well. So there we go. So what do we think of that? See if I've got in my travel kit, see if I've got gems in here. Possibly not. I had them in class kits for today. I'm throwing them on the floor. Not unpacked yet. Could be anywhere. Class ones here. So we haven't got much in here small enough for this one. Good. Try those. I've used most of the little ones on there. So how about, I don't know if these are still current or not. I think they are because they're still in my pot. I'm going to put some little butterflies on this one because it's a bowl full of flowers and leaves. I think it would be quite nice to do these. Now these ones are, I find they ping off, so I'm just going to get my scissor blade underneath and pick them up so that I don't fly them in the air too soon. So just pop some of those round so they look like they're flying over the flowers. There we go. I want that one. There we go. And we'll have one more. Do things in threes. Oh yeah, we can have one over there, look, where you've just landed. He's just looking, coming in on the action. There we go, so we've got threes on there. So how do we think of that? I like that on the second DSP you did. On this one, better. Yes, it was obliterating that card too much, but it won't be wasted. That card will still be used. I'll do something else with it. So we won't waste it. But it's, I might have mentioned previously, using up some of the retired papers and bits and pieces I've got. I would like to get myself to a point whereby I've got a lot of base cards, built, done, liners, and a sticker on the back, and have them like that. So when you need a card in a hurry, you've got a box that you can go to and grab a card and just finish it off. Just thought that would help my lifestyle. But yeah, so there's our note card and envelope, and then we could put a piece of the blue on the envelope that I had here just now. Where did she put it? It's here. There, got it. Just got to remember there's ink on that side. So with these, there is no real right or wrong. Can you see that has got leaves and things on it? We can do this one. We're going to do onto the flap on here. I haven't done this one lately, so I'm literally going to cover that on here, come round, and then place this over the top. So it's another way. We've done this before, I know. So make sure that's all down nicely. I fold it and make sure it runs straight along the edge, and then we're going to just fussy cut that round. A cowl is a good idea. It's in my lifestyle at the moment. I just feel that would be really handy for me. Have a session where I'm just going to make bits up, make them into base cards, and then can personalise it to the person's taste when you've got somebody in mind to send it to. Because sometimes you need a card in a real hurry. There we go. And that's still got a strip on there for me to use on something else. So there's our decorated envelope. I've just gone a little bit over that top bit. It slipped, I think. There we go, get that out of the way. So there's our decorated envelope, and there's our tissue. So this is tissue paper with the Faux Silk Technique. So you've got all the creases in there. Hopefully that still comes up on the camera. Okay, I've just got a bit of shadow in there, but there we go. Hope you like that. I'm glad that there's some people on there who haven't seen that before. That's what I'm here to share with you and teach you new things. So my job is done. It's good. So stay tuned. And where are we? With first of the month tomorrow. That means that today is the last day to take advantage of the sale that's on. There's the bundles. There is an extra 10% off. So you've got 10% for being a bundle anyway in the catalogue. But for the end of this month, and so up until 11 o'clock for us in UK, whatever it is time it is in your markets, you can order and still get an extra 10%. Plus, that extra discount applies to the 2 machines. So the mini cutting emboss and the full-size one. So that's good saving to have. So if you want anything like that, any of my UK people, then let me know. I have got an order going through. I will hit the send button around about, 10:15 probably. Okay, so if I say 10:15, and then I'll hit the send button if I've not heard from others. Okay, so take care and pinch punch first of the month ahead for tomorrow. So Monday tomorrow, and it's the 1st of July. Where's the year gone? The first 6 months gone, done.